What is up, survivors? We're back for another mod review, and for today's mod review we're going to be going over the Resource Gatherers mod. This is a pretty sweet one with a lot of really cool automation, so let's jump right into it. And obviously, if you needed some sweet Harvs Corner canvases, or maybe a giant helmet, or a flag, you can get that. Look how sweet that looks. You want that in your living room, right on the table, right on the front table, maybe on the hood of your car, top of your house, something. Link in the description. Let's go over this. So the resource gathering mod, what this really is just a bunch of little automated peoples that will do things for you. This one is frozen. I'm not sure what's going on here. Stop. Maybe start. Maybe start again. No, you're just stuck. You live like that now. Not sure what's going on there. Stop, start. Maybe? I don't know. At any rate, you'll be able to build a lot of these different people, and you'll be able to place them on the ground, and they will do all sorts of cool things for you. They will all be in the structures folder. You'll have them all independently down here. They will require different things to make them, and they'll also require different things to fuel them. So let's kind of go over all of them. There's also two down here. They're down there for a specific reason. We will talk about why. So the first one we have here is the thief. Now the thief, it just tells you in the description what these things will do. These little automatons here will gather certain things for you. In exchange, you'll have to fuel them using some sort of recipe. And it's worth noting right now, before we move any further closer, that you can, in the INI settings, be able to increase the amount that these things bring in, also the interval at which they bring stuff in, and then also the fuel consumption as well. So if you, depending on the settings of your server or what you would have done, you can crank these up a little bit higher to compensate for a lot of that stuff. But let's go back into it. So what we have next is the miner. The miner will get metal, obsidian, crystal when you provide it with free curry. And as you can see, these guys have already been running and they're just kind of doing their own thing. You can stop and start them whenever you want to. Next, we have the lumberjack. It just gets wooden thatch for you. What do we got next? We got the quarryman, who will get stone and flint for you as well. Need shadow stake to run. We have the hunter that will give you raw meat and raw prime meat when you fill it with battle tartar and have that going. And now the gatherer will get all the berry seeds and, you know, that general seeds and fiber for you. And as well, that one needs Callian soup to keep running. And then we have the exterminator. The exterminator will provide chitin and keratin for you, and it requires bug repellent. Yep, I like the little comments here. Not sure why they eat this, but they are an odd bunch. They are an odd bunch, but they are effective. We have two that you have to place in the water. The first one is the Fisherman. The Fisherman runs on beer and will provide you with raw fish meat, raw prime fish meat at times, and also angler gel when you provide it with beer. And then over here we have the deep sea diver that will get pearls and then oil, sometimes black pearls for you, but you'll have to provide it with Lazarus chowder. Again, you can set the timers up a lot better on these guys so that they don't consume this stuff as quickly, and also so that they produce more items for you frequently. The drawbacks to this, it doesn't seem to be kind of like, if you're familiar with S Plus or SS or any of those type of mods, that usually a tech generator would fuel these things instead. It doesn't seem like that's an option, at least not that I've seen. And I've tested it with the regular tech generator, it didn't do anything, so I can only assume that is the way it is, unless I'm doing something completely wrong, which is definitely possible. But as of right now, it looks like you do need certain ingredients. The other thing to note with these is that typically, and again, I keep comparing this with like S Plus or superstructures, that when they require these things to keep them going, it increases the spoil timer on it. Doesn't look like it happens in this case. As you can see, like the bug repellent is a little over 4 hours before it expires. Move it over here and it stays the same. Doesn't look like there's a way to change that. The only other thing I could have thought of is maybe preserving salt would work, and it totally doesn't. Yeah, so you can't even drop preserving salt in there, it doesn't look like. So that one is kind of a bummer too, but I'm assuming you can set this so that it doesn't eat as much as often, but you are going to end up stacking this. I think if you're running certain mods, what I would recommend doing is doing something like a really good stacking mod in here so that you could have a huge stack of these things running. So even if one expires every 4 hours, if you had stack 1,000 of them in one stack in there, would be a lot more helpful. Obviously, doing something like what I'm doing with a bunch of stacks of 100 isn't helpful at all. Not really. I just kind of threw it in there just to see how fast it would run through it, but it doesn't look like it runs through it that fast at all. In general, I kind of like it though, right? It's like the idea, especially when you get to like later on in the game, being able to just have this stuff automatically happen for you. I really like. I definitely see this as more of a mid to late game sort of helpful thing. And then also, depending on the environment that you're building in or that you're based up at, you might not have access to some of this stuff that's close by, and it might be a lot easier for you to have this. Plus, again, if you're running on a server that's running 24/7, that's on all the time, having these guys just sitting there and pumping out resources for you, it's got to be really useful. Obi Raptor, listen, man, you need to get out of here. Wow. It was like the first time an animal out here actually listened to me while I was recording. Did you guys see that? That never happens. Anyway, all in all, I thought I was a little up in the air about it at first, but honestly, now that I've figured out that you can change all the settings and pretty much do what you want with it, as far as the resource time and what it gathers, I think it actually is really good. And again, very much useful in a lot of different areas, but I would highly suggest checking this one out. I think this teamed up with something like Superstructures or S Plus or Nominal V2 would be a great asset, obviously, for the QOL sort of style stuff. And yeah, I'd totally jump on this one. I think the only real two critiques I would have would be the spoil timer of the stuff that goes inside of these guys. That part would bother me a little bit. And then also having something like maybe if they run by text generator, which maybe they do and I'm just messing something up. Maybe I'm not sure, but that doesn't appear to be a thing. But other than that, I love it. I think it's great. I like the fact that they're all dressed up differently and they look different. Like, it's very easy for the most part to kind of tell what these guys are and what their uses are. I like they're all decorated a little bit different. It's a pretty cool concept to me. I enjoy that one. I don't know if you can, I don't think you can actually like change any of this stuff. Like if I went to like, if I brought hide armor and dropped it over here, it doesn't look like you can actually change it or anything like that, which it honestly isn't too bad. I don't really, those are more just a test just to see what if sort of things. I don't think it's actually mandatory at all. I think these guys look great as they are. That's it, guys. That's the Resource Gatherer mod. I would highly suggest this one as well. We'll have a link in the description so you guys can check this out at your leisure. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you all on the next one.